welcome back to the Performance Injury Report. It is Monday, April 12th, and joining us back from his trip to Aruba, Dr. Mark Casimiro. How's it going, Mark?
Bonbini. That's what they say in the island, Nick. Bonbini.
I like it. I like it. Your little sun kiss there. You're looking
Yeah.
good. Good. Makes me jealous. Does make me jealous. Well, anybody who's out there, if you're watching, let us know you're here. Make sure to give us a hi. Let us know where you are watching from. And if you have any questions for Dr. Mark and I, make sure you put them down in the comments so we can get to them right away. So I know we got baseball's in full swing. We got hockey going. Basketball's going. We got soccer. And the NFL draft is coming up in a couple weeks. So we have some Red Sox starting pitcher news. We had Eduardo Rodriguez come out and have his first start from his heart inflammation stemming from some post-COVID stuff that shut him down last season and then obviously delayed his start this year. He was supposed to be the Sox day one starter. That got delayed. The Sox went 0-3 and now have actually won 6 in a row to be 6-3 and in first place in the AL East. So they kind of did a complete turnaround. Some people say like they're not going up against any great competition, but I mean, 6 in a row is 6 in a row.
That's
I think
right.
It makes some Red Sox fans excited about it. And he went out there and he pitched 5 innings, only allowed 3 runs. His velocity was down a little bit, but he's slated to make his next start. This sounds like all good news. Mark, what were your thoughts on him being able to, put out that performance?
Yeah, I think you got to be happy if you're a Red Sox fan. He was able to go 5 innings, which is good. There was some talk about his velocity being down a little bit on his fastball, but that's to be expected. Actually, a lot of pitchers probably coming out of spring training won't have their velocity up until a couple of weeks into the season as they get a little bit stronger and their bodies kind of reacclimate to pitching every 5th day. So I would say, if he's still having velocity issues in May and June, then that's something that we have to be a little concerned about. But for right now, I would say that's probably expected. It's his first time on the mound since 2019. So he just hasn't pitched, to a live batter in a long time. So I would expect his velocity to be down. I think more importantly is, after the game, everything was feeling all right. He felt good. There's been no information that we've heard that, he's not going to be able to make his next start. So that's good news. It's more about how the pitcher feels those next 2 days after making a start. You get more information, then than you do during the start. So it'll take him a little bit of time to get back in shape. We talked about all the issues with, COVID and sometimes the long-term symptoms. And then obviously Eduardo had that problem with the inflammation in the lining of his heart. So it's just going to take a little bit of time for his body to catch up. But hopefully if there's no setbacks, they can kind of gradually build him up over the season. And then, hopefully as the summer comes and it heats up, July, August, September, he's able to help them maybe make a playoff push.
Yeah, I mean, I think after they started 0-3, people were like, oh, here we go. It's another, Sox are in the middle of a rebuild. They got to rebuild the farm system. It's going to be another bad year. And then, they rattle off 6 in a row. Cora is back, and I think people now all of a sudden, I heard like preseason people saying, I think the Sox are going to be sneaky good. And now they're like, oh, I think the Sox are going to be good. So we'll see. I mean, I'm not going to get too ahead of myself here, but it's just good baseball feels like summer, and watching the Sox play competitive baseball during the summer and not being out of it early is always a bonus. And I'm excited to see what they can do. So let's go from a pitcher who has missed some time and made a start to a pitcher who is rehabbing right now. And that's starting pitcher Chris Sale, coming off the Tommy John. So he has advanced to throwing from 120 feet, but on flat ground. Still has not pitched off of a mound. So when you hear that, Mark, is like, what is that? Paint a picture for us of how long Chris Sale still has to go before you see him on the mound for the Red Sox in a game.
So typically after that surgery, you're looking at, anywhere from a year to 2 years off. I think most pitchers will make their return like a year and a half, depending on when they have the surgery and when in the season they get injured. And typically the rehab phase is you start, on flat surfaces. You start with a certain amount of throws, from 30 feet, then to 45 feet, then to 60 feet, then to 90 feet. So as long as you're hitting the benchmarks where you're able to make those throws over that distance and you're not having any increase in your pain, swelling, or soreness afterwards, they'll progress you to that next distance the next week. So the fact that he's throwing to 120 feet right now on a flat surface, that actually puts less strain on the elbow than pitching from the mound. Believe it or not, even though it's a longer distance. So he'll probably do that for the next week or two, depending where he is in the phase. And then they'll probably go into a little bit longer of a throw. He'll do a certain amount of throws at that longer distance, and they'll gradually increase the amount of throws that he does at that longer distance. And again, if he hits all the benchmarks, he's feeling good, no swelling, no pain, no issues with anything else that makes them concerned about anything. Then they'll start getting him back on a mound, and they'll start up again, ramping very slowly with the pitch count. So he might only do 15 to 20 throws off the mound. Then if he feels good after a week, they'll go up a little bit, then up a little bit more, and then they're progressing that. And then the progression from there is once you've managed to go through those progressions where you're throwing things off the mound and you're feeling pretty good, then they'll run through like simulated games where they'll throw a certain amount of curveballs, certain amount of changeups, whatever arsenal he has for his pitch selection. Make sure that he feels good with that. Then they might have him pitch to some live batters, get some live batters in the box and pitch to them. And then if that works out well, then he's going to go to Worcester, to make some of his rehab starts and kind of see how he goes from there. All things considered, again, it's the same thing with Eduardo Rodriguez. It's about how he feels after he does those things and the time after he makes those throws and how he feels with his elbow. The goal is to still have him pitch this year, but I don't think you're going to see him, before the All-Star break. I think this is going to be a kind of a second half of the season thing, and they're going to take their time with him. I think the couple things you have to understand with Chris Sale is he has a very, very high velocity kind of delivery. If you watch his delivery, he's not as fluid. He puts a lot of strain on his joints with that his delivery, and he's kind of a lanky guy. He doesn't have a lot of weight on him. He's not like a CC Sabathia type who has a lot of weight behind him. So he's kind of a tall, lanky guy. So I think they want to be a little bit more careful with him moving forward. And obviously they have a lot of money invested in him, and they want him to be, the ace over the next 4 or 5 years. So I think they're going to take their time with him. But I think that maybe we can see him maybe in August and September if things are going well. And I think that's a realistic thing as long as we keep getting good information that after these rehab things that he's feeling good and not having any time to deal with any inflammation or pain or anything like that. So I think all in all, good news if you're a Red Sox fan. Nick, I don't know if I can hear you. I don't know if everyone else can hear you. Are you muted? Maybe it's just my computer. No. Talk now?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Whatever you just.
I got these Bluetooth headphones, and they sometimes want to work and sometimes they don't. I think I just got to go old school and go to the wired. Look, I'm trying to be too cool. These give me trouble sometimes, but I'm glad they're working now. I know when Chris Sale first got the surgery, they back last March, they were hoping for this June or July. Sounds like he could be close to that, but I do agree with you. I think they are going to try to be safe with him, and if they are competitive this year, he would be such a great asset to get back in July or August, if they are on pace to make the playoffs and make a playoff push, because we know what he can do in the MLB playoffs. So baseball's in full swing. Remember, out there, if you you fantasy baseball players that really have questions about any of your favorite players and you want us to talk about them and how long you think that player could be out for, how much it could affect them, how much it could affect your fantasy team, your favorite team, anything like that, you have to ask them in the comments below and let us know that you are here and you are watching, and Dr. Mark and I will get to them. Even if you can't join us live and you're watching this after the fact and you wanted to know about Erod and Chris Sale, but you do have questions about other players, make sure you put them in the comments. I check them every week, and Dr. Mark and I can talk about them the next time that we get together. We're here every Monday around 1 o'clock. So if you can, join us. If not, like I said, you can always watch it after the fact. Mark, thank you for joining us as always with your insight on these players. I'm glad to have you back from Aruba, what was the saying again? Can I hear it one more time?
Bonbini is what you say. Hello. That
Bombini.
means hello. Bonbini.
Oh, Bonvini. What's goodbye?
I think it's Bombini as well.
Bombini.
I didn't
Okay.
get that far. I didn't
It's
get
like
that.
ciao, right?
There was too many drinks by the pool. I don't remember how to say goodbye. I was just
Never,
saying good
never.
Bombini to everyone.
No such thing as too many drinks by the pool when you're on vacation. Sounds about perfect. Sounds great. Well, Mark, thank you for joining us. Glad to have you back.
Good to be back. Thank you very much, Nick. Have a good week, everybody.
Everybody out there, stay happy, healthy, and safe. See you next week.